1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Hello and welcome to Slooh, the best place to learn to explore space. I'm Paul Cox and this is our second of our practical astronomy sessions. Now, most of our focus in this series is going to be on using the Slooh telescopes and the different projects you can use them for, whether or not that's creating a wonderful collection of astronomical images. We'll look at that a little bit later actually, or maybe how about some science, maybe like monitoring comets or tracking near Earth asteroids, or even replicating some of the most amazing astronomical discoveries down the ages. Or maybe you just want to gaze up at the night sky through Slooh's telescopes in our charming little sanctuary alongside others around the world in awe and wonder. I know that's why I'm here. Anyway, listen, in this edition, we're going to continue where we left off on Friday with our Slooh Orientation. Now, we're going to take a little bit of a recap on how to reserve your missions on the telescope. So that's when you get to control the telescopes. But then the main focus of tonight is going to be about using your My Pictures area. And that's for managing and sharing your images, creating private and public galleries. And Wayne has asked if I can cover the use of what we call mission and image tags. Incredibly strong features that they're really powerful features that help you manage the thousands upon thousands of images that some Slooh members have. We're also going to take a very quick look at how to check observatory status to plan your missions. Now, if you have any questions for me about anything we cover, just post them to the discussion forum for this course, and I'll answer them at the end of the show if we can, or in the discussions themselves. By the way, we have got a really packed evening for you. Well, I say evening, it's midnight here in the UK, which means it's midnight in the Canary Islands, and where's that? It must be about 7 p.m. I guess over Eastern time in the USA. But I'm going to be joining us again in an hour's time for the first in our series of What's Up This Week, and I'm going to be telling you all about some meteor gazing and also what looks best in Slooh's telescopes this week. But not only that, we've also got the supreme storyteller of Slooh, Helen Avery, and she's going to be telling us all about the constellation of Gemini, the twins, and that's going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern, so don't miss that. If you have missed any of our live casts, including Helen's previous ones in her Constellation Stories series, then members can just hop over to Livecasts over here in the left-hand panel, and you can go up to Browse Livecasts, and then you can see the recent livecasts that have already finished. So if you did miss anything on Friday from the first of this practical series, you can go off and see that. You can see our Supermoon Challenge, that was fun. And then you've got the whole of Dr. Godfrey's Intro to Astronomy. So you've got 2 editions of that already to watch. We also highlight a few here, and you can also see what's coming up. So there you can see, here we are. This is the one we're on tonight. Look at that. That is the telescopes that you guys get to control every clear night. How awesome is that? And this is our next show. So this is What's Up This Week. So that's going to be an hour's time. And then we've got that wonderful storytelling of Gemini, the twins. I love that. There's no better way, I don't think, of learning the night sky than using the constellations as your signposts. Because what you start to remember as well is all of the objects within a particular constellation. And we're going to look at a couple of those actually in the What's Up This Week show. But anyway, listen, by the way, if you are somewhere on the website at the moment and you're hearing these dulcet tones, well, Helen's dulcet, but I'm maybe not, it's our new audio feature, and that enables any of our hosts or guests to come on and just narrate audio through live missions or through any of our live casts or through any of our courses. And you'll see the new little audio feature bug. Whenever we're broadcasting live, you'll see that up here at the top of the page. Now then, let's have a look where we're going to go next. Now, if you missed the livecast on Friday, we covered the various ways of setting up your Slooh missions. And a mission is what we call a 5 or 10-minute chunk of time when you're in control of the telescopes and pointing it to the object or the coordinates that you have set. So we looked at a whole variety of methods of doing that. Now, I'm only going to recap and skip over that now. You can go back and have a look at Friday's broadcast if you like. But let's take a little look. So first of all, you're going to go off to the telescope navigation bar, and let's just head off to the very first item here. In fact, you'll see first of all that the telescope bar tonight, the icon is green, and that is saying some of the telescopes are online right now. And then you can just see down here, we've got Slooh Canary Islands Observatory, we've got the Slooh Chile Observatory. That's got red by it because it's still daylight there. That's going to be coming online fairly shortly, actually. So we'll watch that turn green. But then you can see the Slooh Canary Islands Observatory. This is our flagship observatory. This one where, you know, the largest optical telescope is based in the Canary Islands. It's a fabulous site. Some of the largest astronomical telescopes, professional telescopes, are alongside our own in the Canary Islands. And there you can see Canary 1, that's the mighty half-meter telescope. Canary 2, it's actually got 2 telescopes in it. Canary 3 is the deep sky one. Canary 4 is good for planets, that's the solar system one. Canary 5, that's red because that's the Slooh Solar Telescope. Now I hope, now listen, I'm going to show you something really quickly. I hope you were able to watch this earlier on today. So I'm just hopping over to my pictures and over to my photo roll because I snapped some solar missions today. Oh no, I did it under another account. What a shame. Let's have a look. I might have some in my gallery actually, because I think I added one in here. So yes, I did it under my other account. Oh, how annoying. The sun was looking brilliant this afternoon, and we had it tuned to these huge prominences, which are these huge streams of ionized gas that have been stripped of their electrons and towering off the limb of the sun, off the edge of the sun. And each one of those was big enough to swallow the Earth several times over. But anyway, we'll maybe have a look at that a little bit later. But let's go back. How to reserve telescope. Really quick recap. Hop off to reserve telescopes. And here we can see we've got 4 options here. The default one here is Slooh Recommends. And those are the objects that we've picked out of the Slooh 500, which we think are the very best of the night sky can offer at any one time. And here you can see we've got our theme this week, the constellation of Gemini, because it's the Gemini's meteor shower this week. And here we've got 2 of the brightest stars, Pollux and Castor. And these are our featured objects tonight. Now, all you have to do, if you want to set up a mission for that to control the telescopes to get capture your own images of Pollux, just press the Make Reservation bar. And you can add in a tag here. So I'm just going to add in Livecast. I know I did this during a show. Add tag. We're going to look at tags, by the way, later. Don't forget. That's it. I've set up my mission. And there it is. It's appearing down in the right-hand side. You can see it's going to be tonight. It's going to be in just over 1 hour's time on the Canary 2 telescope. So there's also some other Slooh Recommends objects down here as well that you can take a look at. Oh, don't forget Tarantula Nebula, one of the best objects from the Slooh Chile Observatory because it can only be seen in the southern hemisphere. But anyway, let's take a quick look. We can do the Browse 500. So the Slooh 500 is a list of the best, it's our curated list of the best 500 objects visible in the night sky. And we've split them down here into several categories. You've got solar system. So under solar system, we get all the planets. We can see here, we're going to cover this in WhatsApp in the show in an hour's time. Actually, there aren't many planets visible other than the 2 ice giants, Uranus and Neptune at the moment. And of course the moon. But you could select the moon and you just say schedule mission, and that will set up your moon mission. You go off to stars. Once again, it's calculating the best time and the best telescope to use for all of these stars. So you can come down here. Let's have a look at Castor. One of those tells you a bit of information about the target, and then once again you just press schedule mission, and that would be it. It would be done. Star clusters. Now these are open star clusters and globular star clusters. These are like cities of sometimes millions of stars packed in to these tiny little areas. Now open clusters tend to be very young stars that usually burn quite bright and don't live very long. Star clusters like the Pleiades, the Seven Sisters, M45, or maybe the globular cluster of M13, the Great Hercules cluster. So you'd hop down here and you can select any of those. The grey ones are the things that aren't visible tonight. The bold ones, those are the ones that you can select for a mission, and then you can schedule a mission. Same thing for nebulae and galaxies, so you can do exactly the same thing there. Now, if you want more control, if you want to specify which telescope to use and at what time you want your mission to run, then you need to use one of the two other options. So we're going to come up here and we're going to say reserve by telescope. And what we can see here is defaulted to Slooh Canary Islands 1, which is the mighty half-meter telescope. And this shows us, this page basically shows us the entire schedule for tonight. We can take a look at tomorrow night's schedule just by clicking that button. We can come back to tonight's, and if we scroll down, we can see if there are any spare slots in here tonight. We can piggyback missions. We're going to deal with that next week. We've got one of my missions there. There's a spare slot down here, a few spare slots still, loads down here right at the end of the night. We like to leave those ones at the end of the night to people who are searching for comets and meteors, sorry, asteroids, which can sometimes only be seen in the pre-dawn hours or very early on in the evening. So we try and leave those for them. But once again, we can just pick a slot. Popular object, once again, that's exactly the same kind of process as we went through before. You can select those objects, or we can use the select by catalog. And in this one, there are loads of astronomical catalogs, the most famous of which, and if you are starting out, excuse me, if you are starting out, I would highly recommend you go for objects with an M number, the Messier catalog, right? And we can take a quick look at this. I don't think this is going to be visible. This one might be actually. So I'm just piping in there, M35, that's in the constellation of Gemini. That's actually an open star cluster. Check visibility. Good news, it is visible. So don't forget, this option is allowing us to select the object, but also the telescope and the exact time. Now that is an open cluster, so I'm going to click the particular processing option as well, and I can say schedule that mission. Now actually I'm going to cancel that because I don't want to take up another mission from members tonight. But anyway, so there's a quick recap. Now I did go into more detail on how to set up your missions in Friday's livecast, so do go back and have a look at that. But okay, so you've set your missions up. You might have hopped over here to the telescope pages. So let's hop over to Canary 2. This is the telescope page, and this is where you can watch your missions live. So what are we looking at now? Right, this is Goran. Now, Goran is one of our experienced members who is usually hunting asteroids, usually near Earth asteroids. So we're seeing a lot of stars in this image. One of those little dots there, I bet you if we watch Goran's next mission, it will move slightly between one mission and the next. So it will move against the background stars, and that will probably be the object that Goran is searching for. Goran has, by the way, I believe, made a couple of discoveries as well. So look, you've come into here. Don't forget, by the way, you can't just watch your own missions, but you can watch everybody's mission. So we're watching Goran's mission now. Now, if I wanted to snap a picture into my own area, all I have to do is come down here, press that little button, and bang, it's snapped an image live. It's captured that image exactly as it is right now. We can use zoom controls on it and stuff like that to capture it and pan around as well if we want to change the capture. But where did those images go once you've snapped it? Where will my images go from those reservations that I've scheduled for tonight? Well, they go into another area which is under the telescope sidebar, and it's called My Pictures. Now, this is your own personal area where all of your images are stored. And you can see here, the first view it gives us is our mission. So what we can see here is I had a mission last night. Actually, that was earlier tonight. And that was actually the one that I just snapped, actually from Goran's mission. We've got one here. I did a Pollux mission. That bright star, one of the twins in the constellation of Gemini, and I did Castor as well. So these are my missions. So I can click on one of these and I can go in there and I can take a look at all of the images from that mission. So here we can see it starts off dim as the captures start building and building and building. It gets brighter and brighter, and then it goes to color right at the very end. So that's our mission view here. And we're going to talk a little bit more about galleries a bit later on. But the other view that you might find useful is the photo roll. And this really is exactly the same kind of basis as your phone, your mobile photo roll. It shows you all of the images that you've got, all of your captures in chronological order. And I know the reason now why I couldn't see those solar images that I snapped earlier on today from the Canary 5 Slooh telescope, and it's because I've had these missions running tonight of Pollux and Castor. So let's take a look back here, and we'll scroll back to the previous 9, and there are these solar images I snapped from the solar telescope this afternoon. So let's take a quick look at one of these. You can hover over it. Excuse me, I need to cough. You can hover over it and it'll tell you everything about the object and when you snap that mission. So there it is. It's the sun, reserved by, you can't reserve that solar telescope. You can just watch it live and snap your images. That's why there's nothing under that. But it was Sunday, December 10th. It tells you the time in Eastern, Pacific, and UTC. We're going to cover UTC on next week's Practical Astronomy edition, so that should be fun. I'll demystify astronomical time for you. Tells you the observatory, Slooh Canary Islands, tells us the telescope, Canary 5, and what is called the Canary Solar Telescope. But that's a bit of a thumbnail, but I want to take a close-up look of these prominences I was telling you about. So you just click the image, it brings it up in a larger window like this. Look at this. I hope you can see in the show. I'm just going to check, make sure the show's all running nicely. Yes, it is. You can look at these prominences. Now, this one, hopefully you can see my mouse cursor. The brighter one, kind of further off to the edge, that started off as a single column of plasma today, and then it started changing shape and being sculpted by the sun's magnetic field, breaking free from the sun's photosphere. And then you can see this other, a bit later on in the day, this other prominence, which is kind of its half hedge, what they call a hedge prominence, where it's just all tufty like this, but there's also a bit of an arch going there as well, and that's where this plasma is being sculpted over down round. Just remember that physics experiment that you did at school with a bar magnet and iron filings. That's exactly what's happening with this plasma. It's being sculpted by the magnetic field lines coming out of the sun. So anyway, look, what can we do with it now? Well, first of all, of course, I can like this one because I actually picked this one out of the images that we saw there. Let's just go back, and you can see here in quite a lot of detail actually. Sometimes there might be one a little bit fuzzy, and that's just the seeing conditions. That's how stable the atmosphere was over the observatory. The sun, of course, in December now, close to solstice, it's really, really low in the sky, so it's not ideal. Not ideal observing conditions. But I did see that this one down here looked clear, and actually the last one here I snapped as well. So let's take a look at that. That looked clear. Oh, it does. Look at that. Look at that plasma. Wow. So what I can do is, what I tend to do is, I choose to like these because it builds up. Sorry, it builds up. You can like other people's photos, so you can't do your own. But I'll show you tags in a minute, and that's how I'm kind of grading my own my pictures area. But what can we do here then? So there it is. There's the sun's image. You might just want to download it so that you can show your friends and family. And all that happens there is pops up another box. You can right click, save the image, and you can save it to your local computer. Now we have got some new sharing features that I think might even be coming before Christmas, so keep your eyes open for that. But the other thing that you can do here, and I'm going to do this now, is fantastic session. So this is my observation log. I should have really done this afternoon, but I got a bit busy preparing for all the shows tonight. So fantastic session. Both prominences grew over 4 hours. This was the best capture. So that's the best one I've got, and I can save that. Now, the other thing that I've been doing, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this in more detail, is image and mission tags. Now, this is any text or anything that you can put in here that you would want to maybe search all of your images. You can see up here, actually, at the top of the page, look how many images I've got. I've got 8,000 images. So what I can do in here is I can give it a very specific tag. And it might be that I use this in a livecast. And that's actually what I'm doing. I'm doing a lot of that. I'm tagging all of my images I share in the livecast. But also, I give it a star rating. Now, this is very interesting to me. So I'm going to give it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. Add that. Oh, sorry, couldn't do that. What did I use before? I think I used X's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So X's I use as my star rating. Now, a little bit later, we're going to see that I can search for any image in my pictures that's got either of those tags or any of the other tags that I use. So that's pretty good for now. So I've added my own personal observation log to it. I've shown you we can download it so that we can share it on social media and stuff like that. And we can add tags in here. And very shortly, you're going to be able to add all of this information that you can see down here over the image before you share it. Some members will remember that great feature that we had. But listen, I've also got something in here called galleries. And I have one gallery which is specific for the sun. It's my best solar images. And I think I've got my main one of these is under my other account. But to add this to a gallery, it's this little plus symbol here. And you can see it pops up with a little helper there, add to gallery. And it will list all of your galleries that you've got. So I've only got one gallery at the moment, Slooh Solar Telescope. It's showing me I've got 19 images in there already. But yep, that's the gallery that I want to add it to. What else have we got here? Well, you can manage, if you've got an image which didn't come out really as well as you liked, you can delete it from my pictures. So I'm not going to do that with this one because I love this one. But here's one of the ones that I love. And I forgot to do this today because I wanted to share this image. Now, this share button is, I'll show you where it goes in a second, but we'll click the share button. Now, you have to have filled out the observation log to do that. And it said, picture has been shared. Well, where has it been shared? Well, Slooh have given a chunk of our homepage over to all of the members to share and highlight their best images. And here we go. Explore member photo timeline. So here we've got one. This is Lewis B. Lewis B's been sharing quite a bit recently, actually quite nice. Another nearby Cepheid variable. That's a variable star, which actually, who was it? It was Hubble. Edwin Hubble used those to measure the size and the expanding universe. But if we hop back through this timeline, there's another one by Mario. Oh, nice capture there. We should come to Open Cluster M35. Oh wow, that is gorgeous. Look at the stars in there. I'm just I'll take a look at that one bigger. That is got some beautiful color in it. That looks like the Canary 2 Ultra Wide Field Telescope. That is really nice. Nice capture there. Whoever did that one. Now then, let's hop back because I want to show you just to prove the point that loads of people have been sharing images tonight. This is great. I love this. And what we're asking all the members to do, longer members to do, is to help us fill out this entire timeline all the way back to 2003. Now then, when are these taken? December 10th, that's a little bit early. Yep, so this is still from there it is. So I've shared that. That image doesn't go right at the front, it goes in chronological order. So there you've got it. Now, if you lot like that particular image that I've shared in the photo timeline, you can press that like button. And that's a great way of showing other members that you really appreciate what they've done. It also, by the way, helps to build your gravity points. I'm going to talk about that more next week as well. But let's go back to my pictures to see exactly where we got to there. So that was my photo roll. But let's take a look at the gallery that I've actually set up here. Because what you can also do is you can share your galleries. So this one doesn't show your, this is not a thumbnail of all of the images in the galaxy. That is my Slooh Solar Telescope gallery. So I need to click on that to then see all of the images I've added to it. So look, these are all of my best captures from the Slooh Solar Telescope. Look at those prominences, those sunspots. Oh my word. This has been, right, out of all of my years working with Slooh, this by far is my favorite telescope. I love just sitting there and watching these prominences change. Look, these are split over by just a few hours, and you can see how much that prominence changes from 1 hour to the next. But anyway, so that's a gallery, but I've done something else in this gallery. You can see up at the top right, there's this little eyeball. And what that means is I've set this gallery to be public. Now, I've just switched it off, but switch it on. You can then share that gallery with the world. How cool is that? And this has got such a lot of powerful features in it when you start using it to kind of gather up all of your images into all sorts of galleries. You could use one maybe for your Messier objects, or your open cluster or globular cluster, or your Jupiter images. And don't forget that an image could be in several galleries. So you might have that Messier 35, that open cluster in Gemini, in your Messier gallery and your open cluster gallery. Right? So you can have it in both. But anyway, I'm going to hop back now to the mission view. So here we are. So this is showing me on a mission by mission basis. By the way, if you've noticed any images like these, if you've had missions from Chile, we've just been running a couple of technical checks on the ultra wide field telescope, that when it's enabled in the front end, that will be coming online. But those are just out of focus stars, so don't worry too much about that. But anyway, look, there is the missions view. Now, that's just showing me a chronological list of them. But do I really want to scroll back to the 2180th page of missions that I've got? No, I don't. So how do you get there earlier? Well, we are going to be adding, actually, one of those little number bars where you can skip all the way to one end and the other and stuff like that. But we've got an even more powerful feature, and that's the filter by feature here. Now, up here, first of all, you can see that we can filter this list to only missions on the 8th of December. So there, you could see the bottom change, hopefully, and there it's only showing me 24 missions from that particular day. So that's pretty cool to start off with, isn't it? And of course, you can go back years. So this is a really easy way of finding images from quite a long way back. We are going to be adding in there as well some other arrows that will take you back years rather than just months. Now, if you want to clear any filter while you're going through this stuff, you just hit that little cross button up there on the tab and it's reset. Now I want to go over to the next little item here, and system tags is something that we haven't yet rolled out, and we might be removing that tag. But the two that you can use right now are mission tags and picture tags. Now, let me just show you where we can set up a mission tag. So I'm just going to go in here, reserve telescope. I'm going to reserve my telescope. I'm going to go to, let's go to Canary 3 actually. That's got a nice wide field of view. Come down here, pick a free slots. Let's have a look at nebulae. What nebulae are visible at that time? What have we got? California Nebula, that's a really big one. Never really shows up that well in the telescopes because it's so big and diffuse. Let's take a look. Oh, I can never resist the Orion Nebula. Who can? So Orion Nebula, when you click Schedule Mission, this little box pops up in here. And this is where you can add your mission tag. So this is this applies to the entire mission and all of the images within that mission. And this is what Wayne was asking about over in discussions. He was asking, what's the difference between a mission tag and an image tag? Well, a mission tag is attached to one, the mission, so you can start filtering by tags for the mission, and it also applies to every single image under that mission. So in this one, I'm going to have my favorite Livecast tag, add that in there. So when you're thinking about tags and which ones you want to use, the way I'd recommend it is, however you think you might want to be able to search your images or missions at a later date, use those keywords. Those are the tags to use. And by the way, they can be multiple words as well. You know, they can be, what can we have in here? There's no point in adding the telescope because that's going to be there in the filter, but I don't know, no moon. So you might select a tag of no moon, or let's say no moonlight, all right? Add that tag, which means that I could at a later date search all of my missions for all of those missions that were made and created or taken under no moonlight. When you say absolutely, you get the confirmation, there it is, got it, thanks. So that's how you apply a tag to a mission. So we're going to go up to telescopes, we're going to go back to my pictures, and we're still in this mission tag here. So what we can have a look at here, there is what's listed here are all of the mission tags that I have ever added to any of my missions. All right, so you can see here I've marked some here: Helen Avery Livecast mission, potentially hazardous asteroid. So I can search for any of my missions which were that I had tagged potentially hazardous asteroid. So how many have we got? We've got quite a few. Wow, look at that. I got 20 pages. Wow. No, 20 missions, which I've tagged potentially hazardous asteroid. So and that can be across time. But of course, what you can do is you can start using the tags in combination with the time filters. So I could say, only show me the last month. Well, I haven't got any for the last month. How about the last year? Okay, so they appear there. And don't forget, you can use as well multiple tags. So you can start seeing, you can really drill down further and further and further into your My Pictures area and all the thousands of images that you might start building up. And what this is telling us as well, I don't know if you've noticed up here, but it's giving you a kind of overview of what those filters have done. So you can see here with those filters of anything that's happened in the last year, tagged with mission, NEA, near Earth asteroid, or PHA, potentially hazardous asteroid. I've got 86 missions, and the photo roll has 377 photos in it. So that's quite cool. That's a rather nice way, isn't it, of being able to select your images. But maybe you also want to say, well, actually, I only want to see the ones that I took with the Canary 2 telescopes. So there we go. We've got 24 missions, 162 photos. So once again, you start drilling down, drilling down, drilling down. If you want to clear your filters at any point, press the X and it goes back to there. Oh, I've just seen actually, I used an IOTMN. That's International Observe the Moon Night. Oh, I haven't got any images in there. How on earth did I use that tag and not have any images? What a shame. Anyway, the next tag, so that's mission. tags. Let's have a look at picture tags. So this once again is going to list any image that I have tagged. And if you can remember, all you have to do to select one of those, we can go to our photo roll. Let's just close the filter box down. This one, oh, that is lovely. This castor image is pretty nice. Now, I'm going to give that another tag of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because I think that's a pretty wicked image. Add that tag. I'm also going to add my Livecast tag. So I've done that. I might want to add my observation log. Now, once you've added it, that's it. It's done automatically. So let's go back to our filter roll, back to our missions. Right, picture. So here we can see the tags I've used. So I've got some in here. I've told you there. I've got Livecast. So show me any image that I've got in here which is tagged with Livecast. Or maybe there's that XXX and we've got to, no, I've got to take that one off. And that should be showing up. Actually, I need to go to photo roll. And there we can see the two images here that I've tagged 5 stars. So actually, I think on my other account, I went up to 10 stars because I was starting to run out of things to watch. But we can see here again, I have tagged a lot of my best solar images with the type of phenomena that you can see on it. So I've maybe put active region or AR, or if there was a prominence visible. So by filtering all of my images here, all of these images I know have a prominence on them. And there you can see them all. So you can hopefully see here, this is a really powerful way that you can start drilling down into all of your images. And you can also do it quite simply. You can do it on solar system. You can say only show me, let's say Chile 1. Let's hop down here. So I've only got 2 images of the moon here. Actually, I think I may already have a, no, I think I've still got a filter in place anyway. But you can see the power that this starts to give you to start managing and of course sharing, because you can just click on one of these images once you've filtered them and you get this view back up, and you can add your observation log, you can add your tags to it, you can add it to a gallery that you've made. If it's a poor image that you don't want kind of messing up your My Pictures area, you can just delete the image, or you can press the download button, right click, save as. That little feature is going to improve a great deal in the future. Or you can share it on the timeline. By the way, I told you earlier that you have to have filled out the observation log when you share an image to the member timeline. And that's because we want you to add why you're picking that particular capture, that particular moment to share, not only with the community, but that's visible to the world on Slooh's homepage. So if you try and share it without it, it'll tell you, please write an entry in the observation log with details of what's unique and interesting about this photo before sharing it. All right, so that's really what we want your help to do. Share the very best of Slooh. Now, I think that is about enough on My Pictures, because what we're going to do each week in these practical astronomy series, we're going to keep revisiting some of these areas. And if you've got questions that have been prompted by one, then hop over, I'll show you where to go, hop over to community, go over to discussions, or in fact you can go straight over to courses. So the practical astronomy course is down here. We've got the intro to astronomy with Paige Godfrey, but if you click on this one, here's a post specifically for this show, and you can click on that, and all you got to do, if you've got a question, just write it down here and I'll do my best to answer it on the show or in the discussion boards. So make sure you do that. So we'll go into some of these things in more detail every time we come to do one of these shows. Now, that just about rounds it up for me while we take a look at the Canary 2 telescope. Now, what have we got? Oh, now I'm going to be back with What's Up This Week at the top of the hour. That's only in 20 minutes time. I'm just going to make sure actually that we are still running, of course, in here. Yes, we are. Thank goodness for that. I'm a bit worried that I'd overrun. So I'm back at the top of the hour in 20 minutes time to talk about all of the must-see sights of the week, not only through Slooh telescopes, but also my favorite meteor shower of the year, the Geminids. And I'll tell you the best way to watch those in your own backyard, as well as some details actually of our live coverage that we've got on Wednesday evening. Now then, later on tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, that's 02 a.m. UTC. Oh, nice image that Maritha has just shared. That is so cool. She's just shared that. That image was taken a few moments ago on the Canary 3 telescope. That is of the Running Man Nebula, the Orion Nebula below it. But can you see all of those white lines shooting through it? Have a look at that. Those are satellites. How cool is that? And that's what actually Maritha is asking in the observation log. What are those stripes? Those are at least two satellites which are passing through the field of view of the telescope while those images were being captured. How cool is that? Anyway, 9 p.m. Eastern. You know me, I always get waylaid, distracted, don't I? By pretty images. So that is a particularly good one. You can see why it's called the Running Man Nebula, can't you? 9 p.m. Eastern, 2 a.m. That's GMT or UTC. We have got Slooh Supreme Storyteller Helen Avery with her livecast in her series of constellation stories. And as I've told you this week, Helen is going to be telling us about the celestial twins captured in the constellation of Gemini. Now, I'm going to be back here at the top of the hour to go over everything else that's going to be good to see next week. I'm Paul Cox. This has been Slooh, where we can learn to explore space together. I hope you're with me tonight. See you in 20 minutes time. Bye for now.